So, I'm gonna give you a little treat today and unload very succinctly what this whole thing about chakras is. I hear this so much. I hear this thing about chakras. And here's the thing, I've physically practiced this. This has been a daily routine for me through yoga, through the wisdom of yoga practice. Not just the postures, but the postures actually are stimulating the chakras. If you think about our energy system, we have this spine that runs through us. It runs all the way upwards, and I'll tell you in a moment a bit more about the chakras. Science knows this. It's the most important thing. Even science has proven there's energy centers going through us. So this is real stuff. This is no longer like airy-fairy. What science can't prove is the wisdom of them, which stays in the zone of airy-fairy. But me as the most logical person ever, the most skeptical person in the world, I used to be, I fully know that there are chakras and they have a lot of wisdom. Ultimately, it contains the secrets to living. And that might sound like a bold statement, but 100%. And you'll know in a moment why. And I'm kind of preloading this for a reason. Because I don't want it to be complicated and all about the colors of the chakras and the shapes and the patterns and the designs and the names even. Names don't even matter. People get wrapped up on that part of, oh, I feel something in my sacral area. Like, I want this to be simple. It's an energy. It's a knowing. It's not psychological. You can't get stuck in the psychological thinking of what you think this is. The theory of it. That doesn't make any sense. It can't be theoretical. It's illogical. It's something that can't be explained by words and mental calculation. It's an experience. So that's why I wanted to mention to you that I'm practicing this every day as an experience. Feeling in it. So, energy centers. We can use that word instead of chakras, if you wish. Chakra just means spinning, vortex. A vortex. Because what it's saying is, it's almost like thinking of your capital city in a country. All the roads are aimed towards that, right? You look on the Google Maps and you see capital city, and then all these roads are coming towards it. It's like a vortex. It's got all of these like channels coming off it. And then those spread out across the country. And then you might have another major city somewhere else. So these little channels, they all again branch towards this other major city. That's how I want you to think about this first. The core centers where it's like a capital city. It's like a major city. And here's the thing, it's a network. It's one network. The system. I see so many people getting wrapped up on, I have this problem in my throat chakra. I have to do something and with this. Again, I'm not discounting that. There are certain, you can focus on a chakra, but it's a system. If you think about it as like a pipe, a very long pipe, let's say, and along the pipe, if there's dirt in different areas, then the dirt might start moving to the other areas. Or if there's blocks in one area, it will affect the flow in the other areas. It's a system. It's just one system. Let's just say that. And think about this. This is what really helps me. Everything above you, the sky, the heavens, you want to call it. Think about that first. Consciousness, unlimited expanse above you. Even on a scientific way to say this, right? There's just unlimited. It's a fact. But then think about that spiritually. There's unlimited above me. Endless amounts. Below you, there is earth. There's this ground. Gravity is pulling you down there. Think about how those two make you feel. This unlimited expanse above you. And then there's grounding. Their experiences, their feelings, the energetic feelings of, oh, wow, unlimited. Oh, wow, grounding. So it doesn't matter what words you put to this. As long as you experience it, you feel it for what it is. Spiritually. So that's where I start. With the chakras. And in between, that's where we are, right? We're here. In the middle, there's the heart. That's the center point. So now you've got kind of your bearings, right? Let's call it. You've got your bearings. If you're thinking about a journey, you've got your bearings. You know, okay, there's this thing, and then there's this thing in the middle. So now it becomes a bit more logical, right? At the bottom, we have the root chakra. The root. You think of it like a plant, tree, which has roots into the ground. Your legs are like the roots. We're literally touching the ground. We're literally like, you got these toes that have strange shapes. That, if you thought about toes as being extended a little bit, they'll be like roots, right? So we have the legs rooting in, and the root chakra is connected to the lower body. It's literally us rooting into the ground. So it's our earthly, physical way of being. That's what it's about. It's our physical being. So keep it simple. It's your physical being. And you know why challenges come up here? Because if our physical danger is at threat, we go into fight or flight. And what usually happens is we think our physical danger is at threat because of our mind. We think, oh, public speaking? Oh my God, heart racing. Everyone's gonna, it's like we're under threat physically. Or things like feeling abandoned. That's a real danger that you could die, right? If you were abandoned in the middle of nowhere with nothing, you feel unsafe, there's a danger of your physical being. So a ton of inner challenges come up based on this, the wisdom of the root, your earthly body, this flesh layer, the staying alive. That's what it is. So I'm going to leave it as that for now and let that simmer for you. Then we have the creative source. So the root chakra is around let's just call it the leg area. But if we were to physically locate it, it's meant to be at our rectum. But then slightly above that, we have the creative power. Sexual organs. Makes sense, right? These things make people. These sexual organs are about helping us to create people. We can actually create other humans using these things down here. So it's the power of creation itself. That's where it lives. There's a huge amount of energy there. No wonder the act of sex is so powerful. Because it's not just physical thing. It's not just a physical thing. There's a ton of energy there. It's the power to create. It's potency. It's like pure potential is stored there. So for me, when I started unlocking this area, I started becoming creative and enjoying art and dance and music and just speech even, all sorts of things. I started seeing potential. People tell me a lot, they're like, you're so creative. Where do you get these crazy ideas? It's just flowing through me now. So let's leave it as that for now. I'll let you simmer on that too. Swiftly we move upwards. That power in there, that power down there from the earth that I mentioned is coming up through our legs, through the root chakra, through these sexual organs. And then it comes up to this core area. Everyone that does exercise knows that this is core. I'm working my core. Because it's the part where our strength lies. Twisting and turning, we need this core. Quite literally, you pick something up, your core is working. It's our tree trunk. It's that tree trunk. Stabilizes us. It's our power source. All our food goes there. It makes sense, right? Logical. Food goes here. There's a huge amount of energy that is needed for digestion and then distributing that food into usable energy. So it makes sense, right? That this is the power source. It's fueling us. And it connects with the creative force, if it does anyway, if it does create with the connective force and the root chakra, boom, something starts booming upwards. Creativity with power. Wow. So swiftly moving upwards, this energy starts to move upwards. Think of it as there's this powerful energy that's moving through these chakras. People will call this Kundalini, Lifeforce. You can call it whatever you want. Let's just not go into that too much. But something's moving through these chakras. And then it moves up from the core. Like a cannon is being shot. And then it can go into the heart. Once the heart opens, oh my God, I say things like, oh my God. Because I'm just in bliss. I'm loving everyone. I just look at the plant and I'm in love. It's the connection from going from me to we. That's how I like to describe it anyway. It's just connection with others, compassion. It's not love of romance and emotional love. It's not based on emotion. It's not based on your thinking. It's just a pure energy. And when your chest opens, when you feel like you've got this energy flow through here, wow, this is when it gets really interesting. If you have like challenges with loving people, I did for sure. I don't even think I felt like I had a heart. I thought a heart was just when you exercise and your heart beats physically. I never felt any love for most of my life, and that's like seriously true. Maybe unconsciously, but I never consciously felt it. So as soon as this opened, something huge opened up in my world. I remember feeling like I was dancing on the earth. I was just blissed out. And ever since that's happened, like my life's changed 100%. And that's all been through the work of yoga, yogic practice, personal development, looking at myself differently, different eyes boomed open. It's like a door has opened. This is usually quite challenging for most people. And actually all of this is challenging for most people. And I'm saying most people because that was me as well, by the way. But when this does happen, when it gets to the heart, it's like, I call it an explosion. It's an amplifier. Now this energy is moving here, boom, it can shoot upwards. It's like it's a trampoline almost. With the core is like a trampoline. Once it moves past that and to the heart, then it's like a rocket that's firing off. So, anyway, moving swiftly forward on this guided tour. The throat, once it moves up to the throat chakra, then it's like all of this power wants to come out. It wants to come out in our communication, how we're speaking. Right now, I'm not thinking about what I'm saying. I didn't plan what I was going to say here. It's just coming through me. It's bursting through me. The life from the ground, from everywhere, from consciousness, is coming from the ground up and through me, like a wave washing in. So the throat allows you to communicate what's inside now. It's getting it out now. And there's a power in this. There's a roar. Think of it as a lion roaring. Confidence. And the confidence, that's not like an act of confidence. It's just your being. It's just natural. It doesn't need any effort. It's just a flow of words. And the words are a representation of the energy. Again, not consciously thinking about some words. It's just coming through. So this is a roar. Let's call it a roar. And now once it moves up here, into your head region, now it's gone from body to here. It starts connecting with your actual brain. It gets so interesting now. Now, you know this area called third eye chakra. Very mystical, and there's a bunch of like photography and memes and all sorts of stuff out there about this chakra. Very popular. Hinduism for sure. It is. Yoga, yogic philosophy. Keep it simple. This is what started everything for me actually. I started feeling this tingling when I went to my first, well not first, but like after I started yoga initially. I started feeling this tingling. And I said to the girl I was with, like, I don't know what this is, it just keeps tingling. It feels weird, but nice. For the first time in my life, I was relaxing. I was calmer. The first time, I was in fight or flight mode, rushing around forever. But when I went to this yoga class, I felt this tingling. Just like so beautiful, the tingling. And I was just calm, without needing anything to do that for me, without needing some kind of tea or a massage or anything. Just being. So, to put it simple, the third eye represents your connection to your highest intelligence. Sometimes it's called the master gland, and I can vouch for that. is the master of the whole system. And what that means for me, and what I think it means, through experience, right? Like I don't know about books. Who knows what they say? But it means that this is what starts the process, and this is what calls the other ones. It's like calling them to awaken, tempting them, saying, come on guys, calling in the troops. And it supports them all because it represents your awareness. You think about this like thing of a third eye. It's like you can see the world differently now. It opens up and you can see the world with a different eye, different look of the world, different feeling of the world, different knowing of the world. Third eye ultimately represents you seeing the world for what it is, as one. And that might sound like, oh, oneness, oh, cool, yeah, this oneness thing that goes around, and people are like, oh, I want oneness for all. What it means is we have a body which has parts, right? We have a left and a right side, left and a right brain. We have left and a right eye, left hand, right hand, left heart side, right heart side. They're doing different things. In our system, we have parasympathetic and sympathetic. We have the system which enlivens us and the system that calms us down. Too much of either is not good. They need to be in balance. They need to be one. When we're in harmony, when our thinking and our creativity become one, when we're calm yet focused, when we can take action but from a still place, that's what this eye represents, bringing things together. Complete different way of looking and interacting in the world. So much potential from you. And it's been the most beautiful thing for me to experience. Because like I said, it started off there in the third eye, and then everything else started waking up. And I think that's generally how it is. Because this is like the key that opens up the first door. That's what I say. You become more aware. Your awareness opens. You see more things that you didn't know before. Insights. Your world expands. So now you can access more things within you. This is the life of someone who is expanding themselves, mastering themselves. So much potential. And it gets better and better. I'm not done. It just gets more and more expansive. So that's the third eye. That's a bit of a longer one. Finally, just above our head, there's a crown chakra. And again, don't worry about all these names, but crown is actually a great name. Because in the old days, all the kings would wear this like crown, and then they'll have this like pointed part here. And they'll put jewels in there and stuff like that. Some of the Indian kings, they'll put jewels in this part. Because they had this knowing that there's an energy here. You see, like, it's clever. It's clever why they had these crowns. But what it represents is surrender. There's that book, Surrender Experiment. There's all sorts of stuff on letting go and letting the universe do this for me. That's very useful if you are working with all the other parts of yourself, all the other chakras, the energy system. You can't just say, I'm going to let go and let the universe do everything. You can't just do that. Because then you're not aligned. You're not using yourself to your full potential. You're not tapped into your heart. You're not tapped into creativity, the insight, the wisdom of the third eye. You're not roaring things out into the world. But if you are, then eventually you have to let go. Because you can't say, hey, I'm a master and I'm a Superman who's got all of these chakras and I can do everything with them. There has to be humbleness to surrender and know that all of that stuff comes from a different place. It's not actually you. It's not actually you. There's something working through you. The energy from the floor, the sky, the consciousness, the elements. You have to surrender to that. Because then it will come into you. Then you'll be able to access it. It sounds counterintuitive. Because in the logical world, it doesn't make sense. It's like we have to try harder. That's why this system is so challenging to teach and to learn, because it requires so much precision, because you have to know when to let go and how to allow something into you, but then also know your powers, know what's possible. You see, it's literally like having the keys to life, because through this you can access the powers of creation, creating whatever you want. You have your heart helping you with that. You have the life force. You have the core, the warrior in you. You're able to speak things into the world, and you have intelligence. That's why I said this is all one. If you have all of this in harmony with itself as a one, then imagine that. It's like the world's greatest superhero has got all the superpowers. So you can create whatever you want in the world now. And at the same time, you can be here in the present moment whilst doing that. Loving life, loving yourself, loving others, loving everything. All the efforts drop because you're in presence. You're here. That's where mindfulness comes from. It's taking an element of this wisdom I've just shared and focusing on it. That part of being okay with everything. Love, compassion. Buddhism talks about this a lot, right? Buddhism talks about that. So you can create whilst being here, loving and full of life. And you can also destroy, transform all of these nonsense things that the mind tells you. Limitations, fears, stories. We've all picked them up through our lives. Limitations. We have the mind in our way, stopping us. So we have to do the act of transforming, of destroying. And when I say destroying and transforming, ultimately I mean you're seeing things differently. Again, you're in the wisdom. You're in the wisdom from the third eye, but it's powered by everything else through you. So again, it's one system. Maybe a little bit of a focus on transformation, but you're using all of this system for like an orchestra to make a song. Think of it like that. The orchestra that makes some amazing music. All of it is a part of it. Someday they might say, we're going to make a song about love. So that's their focus. But they're still using all of the sounds. One day they might say, we're going to make a song about creating your life. Hype people up. Inspire them. Same band, different instruments, different way of using the instruments. You see, it's like you have everything at your disposal. It's like you have all of the colors of the rainbow. And it's funny because that's how they colored the chakras. I don't know why, don't know who thought of that. I'm not really related too much to colors in that way. Some people might be. But what I'm trying to say is, color came from nothing. Color doesn't exist. But we're able to make colors from that thing that didn't exist. The primary colors come out of that. And then from the primary colors, other colors. So this system, this chakra system is like you have access to all of the colors. And even if you don't get this right now and you're thinking, what do I do? I don't get this. This is too much. Maybe you do. I don't know. Maybe you're getting this fully. But just sit with everything that I've said so far. If you work on all these areas, these things that I've said, as themes, instead of like, oh, I've got a chakra, I've got to get and take it to the mechanic, and the mechanic has got to fix it. Developing yourself, your creativity, your connection to your physicality, the root chakra, your core, your strength, fuel, fire in the core, your heart smile, but your heart power at the same time, passion, courage. It's like I'm mixing the colors again, right? Courage comes from this core with the heart. You see, colors mix. Now you have everything. You have all of the emotions, all of the expressions, all of the ways of being comes from this. I really want you to get this. Your throat, your speech, being able to communicate yourself, express. It's not just here, it's coming from a combination of this system. Your wisdom, pure awareness. If you really focus on this, you have wisdom like the Buddha and all of these people. They spend a lot of time focusing on that. But again, it's a system. Surrender. Letting go. Letting go. You can meditate and try and focus too much, but you have to let go for you to be able to really get the fruits from it. So you see, it's like an orchestra, a dance. And the more you can practice this stuff, the more you're going to get a feel for the secrets to life, ultimately, like seriously. So, I'm going to leave it as that. That's the quick way of me teaching in a 30-minute video of what these chakras mean, the theory behind it, philosophy you can call it, but I'm not sure if I call it philosophy. I call it a science. I call it a knowing. I know this because I've practiced this. I felt it. So, I'm going to leave it as that. And if you want to know some practices, I will talk about that in another video. Or you can ask me about this specifically, because it's not a one size fits all the time. It's a very fine art, let's call it. But there are some specific ways that you can do this. So, I'll leave it as that for now. See what comes up for you. See what ponderings you have, insights, questions. And that's it for now.